Alright, what's up everybody? This is Bailey from Exotech, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Basshunter song. You know, the one he made for YouTube. Alright, to start, the song is composed of 4 key elements. The lead, the rhythm, the bass, and the drums. In this video, I'm going to be going over how to make all 4 of these elements. To start with the lead, you're going to initialize a patch in the Thor polysonic synthesizer. From here, you're going to make 2 analog oscillators, as shown. The first analog oscillator with an octave of 5, and the second analog oscillator at octave 6. And make sure they're both square waves. And the first square wave having a pulse width of 45, and the second one having a pulse width of 64. Okay, from here, you want to go to your low-pass ladder filter and pick a frequency of 21.6 kilohertz, which is full, and have a resonance, of 26. And make sure the mode is set at 24 type 2. Alright. Next, you want to make sure you have a bypassed filter too, and run it through the bypassed filter to the amp, as shown here. Okay, now that you have that, make sure your amp envelope, the sustain, is all the way up on your amp envelope. And that's just about it. The last thing you want to do is make sure you have your LFO running down here. You want to make your LFO a sawtooth wave with the rate all the way up. And set the LFO value to route to oscillators 2's pitch. And that is the lead. It should sound something like this. Alright, now for the rhythm. This classic Basshunter style rhythm is composed of 1 analog oscillator with an octave of 4 in a sawtooth waveform. Okay, now you want to bring the frequency up to 16.1 kilohertz and make sure your envelope, velocity, all of these controls are down to 0. Again, your filter type is going to be 24 type 2, and make sure your resonance is all the way down. You're going to again run it through your filter, which is bypassed, to the amp, with the gain all the way up and your velocity set to 30. What I did here was I panned the signal right so it would come out as stereo, and I put it through a stereo imager to give it a better sound. So, if we listen to that, it should sound something like this. Alright, second to last is the bass, a classic Basshunter bass. And to make that, to make that classic bass, you're going to pull up 2 phase mod oscillators and an analog oscillator in the exact same order that you see them here. For the first phase mod oscillator, you want the first waveform to be a saw and the second one to be a square, and your PM amount set to 24. For the second phase mod oscillator, you want to make sure your first wave is a square and the second wave is off. Okay, and now, and the PM is set to 24. And for the analog oscillator, you want it to be a square wave with a pulse width of 66. Now that you have that set up, make sure in your low-pass ladder filter that your frequency is set to 175 Hz, resonance set to 38, envelope amount to 81, velocity to 83, and the KBD to 0. Okay, and that's about it for the bass. What I did is I ran it through a compressor and a maximizer here. If you can see, the input gain is at 7.1. It's set to soft knee with an attack of 1 millisecond with an output gain of 6.8. And the maximizer input gain is -0.4 with a 4 millisecond look ahead on the limiter with a slow attack and a fast release, and an output gain of 3.9. A soft clip amount is also set to 64 as a peak. Okay, that's it for the bass. The bass should sound something like this. Alright, and last but not least, the drums. I actually have purchased a sample pack for trance drums, but I'm sure you can find something in Reason's default sound bank that sounds something like this. But the bass drum I've used sounds like this, the clap sounding like this, and the hi-hat like this. And I've made a little pattern down here in the sequencer. That's for the bass drum, the claps on every other bass drum, and the hi-hats between every bass drum. Okay, and now to listen to what the drums should sound like. That classic techno-y, trance-y drum line. Okay, and now, if you want to hear the whole song, it should sound like this. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make the Basshunter song, and thank you.